We're hoping that our connection stays clean here. We've had a bit of a dirty line today, but we are at Homeland, 33rd and Broadway. And bear with us if we start to cut out a little bit, but it'll all get better in due time. In due time. Reggie Jackson said that in the locker room to us the other day. In due time. Like, boy, that's cryptic. Joe Adkins.
What'd you ask him? When are you going to play some defense?
Well, no, we asked him why. It wasn't me. It was Gilman. Gilman asked him, you weren't at the end of the game. It's Deion Waiter's second game. This was the game. This is the Utah game. It's Deion Waiter's second game, and you weren't in at the end of the last 9 minutes. Deion Waiters was. You mad about that? That's what it was. Something like that Andrew Gilman.
Basically,
asked.
Gilman asked him, "Are you mad, bro?" Is what happened.
Reggie said, "No." No, and Andrew goes, "You want to elaborate?" He goes, No. And he smiled, and he goes, "Just smile. In due time. In due time."
Joe Adkins, you want to elaborate for Reggie Jackson?
No, not really.
No,
I mean, but I'm sure those other 8 guys on the bench, you could have asked the same question, and they would have had the same response, though. So I think the response may be a little overrated.
Well, is the reaction is the panicked reaction of Thunder fans after last night overrated?
No, I wouldn't quite say that's overrated. I mean, I think there should be a huge firestorm of what's going on. I mean, to take off 5 days or to be off 6 days, and you worked on some things, and normally when you do a lot of things in practice, at the beginning of the game, the players are able to do it. Now, as the course of the game goes on, they kind of go back to their own ways. But to give up 40 to start the first quarter,
yeah, I was just going to say, Joe. I mean, that totally blows that theory out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, that it's just unexplainable, the effort that was in the fourth quarter. I mean, because I'm going to tell you this. When you play Houston, there's 2 things you got to do. You got to get back in transition, don't give up layups, and don't give up threes. And the Thunder did all 3 all night. So that's the recipe for disaster when you're playing the Houston Rockets.
Joe, what's the biggest difference? Let's do this on a macro scale here. All right, let's think big picture here. What's the biggest difference between this year's team when 100% healthy? Okay, when 100% healthy, and last year's team. What's the biggest difference?
Well, there's a difference. You can start with training camp where you actually had all your guys together. So there's a huge difference. I think when you insert guys back into the lineup, we automatically assume that they're just going to pick up right where they left off, when in reality it's not really like that. Especially in college sports, you can get away with that more because those guys are always together. When you're in the NBA, you have a change of a lineup, or a guy like Deion Waiters comes in, it's completely different. And you don't actually have the same exact team. You have multiple pieces, of course. So it's different because this year, because they really didn't practice together to start the season. I mean, those guys were out, and you're seeing the effects of that. But some of that is, I can't put my foot. I mean, it's hard to say lack of effort, but some of those plays last night, you saw guys shooting wide open, and guys, they didn't even run out. They didn't do anything. They just kind of watched them. So it was definitely disappointing to see, and a lack of effort and a lack of desperation because, I mean, they're fighting for a playoff spot. So you would like to definitely see more competitiveness than we saw last night.
Well, I tell you, and I don't know, do you feel look, I'm the guy who tries to just tell everybody to settle down, even though and just because
you're holding back guy. That's what you are.
We're not even just because we're not even at the halfway mark yet. You know what I mean? So yeah. I've kind of and the team was without obviously their 2 stars for a good portion of it, and I assume that it will turn around. But is the panic justified whenever, on top of whatever's going on the court, you also see a general manager who has already made one move and may be on the precipice for another?
Well, I think if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, where you are right now, you got to look to make moves. You see teams like the Houston Rockets, they're making moves and they're in the playoffs. I mean, they get a guy like Josh Smith who could be a viable option for those guys.
It seems un-Presti-like, though, Joe. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it with other teams, but it seems un-Sam Presti-like.
Well, you got to get better. Well, in the previous years, at this point in time, the Thunder have always been in first or second place. Well, to this year, they're in 10th. So there's a much bigger – I mean, there's much more panic going on than you would see in previous years because they were always – they had got off to good starts and were able to kind of coast. And, you know, when they hit their little bumps in the road, they were always, because of their record, they were okay and were able to control themselves, where now each loss is being modified because you're already almost to 20. And as we know, in the West, you can only have at most 32 losses. So I'm just going to give the 8 seeds 50 and 32 at least. So you're just really running out of losses you can have.
Joe, we know that the first quarters have not been good for the Thunder in some of these road games this year. Why do you feel that that's the case? Is it a rotation thing? Did you already ask this, Zach?
Well, I mean, rotation, that would mean we would be saying we need to change the starting lineup because the start of the game was probably the worst. So I don't know if changing the starting lineup is going to do anything. Man, they just look like a team that's lost and are really searching for themselves. Like, there's a lot of guys that are, I mean, they're just tinkering. Like, it's not like everyone's not on the same page. That's for sure. And when you take 6 days off as professionals, I tend to believe that you would get those things ironed out. But, you know, after 5 or 6 days of practice, I mean, you're still playing a really good Houston team, so that doesn't mean you're guaranteed a victory because you're going to practice hard and get some things kinked out, but you want to play better. And last night they didn't play well, and so that's disappointing after coming off that huge rest.
Zach, had you already asked him that? I thought I heard you chuckle. Okay.
No,
I'm sorry. I got things going on around me, so I thought maybe I doubled up on a question there.
No. I wasn't laughing at that. No, we still got Trevor's over here still taking pictures of my pants that are too short. So
he's wearing capri pants today, Joe.
I'm not.
Yeah, they're kind of D-Wade-ish. Yeah. Although I am. I mean,
that's the coolest way to make it sound acceptable. It's called
right,
D-Wades.
Right. I got my D-Wades on.
Or for the other listeners, you got your Steve Urkel on, just
right.
so they understand what we're saying.
Is that what you call the D-Wade? The D-Wade is the old Steve Urkel?
Well, I mean, it kind of fits. I mean, it's just a little more stylish. I mean, Urkel probably has some bad socks on. D-Wade has nice shoes, so it makes it look a little better, but it's not a typical look that I really
Well, Zach has bad
with.
socks and ugly shoes, so...
Oh yeah, these shoes are old. I got old shoes on. I've got some crappy Nike socks. It's not a good
did you
look.
wake
I mean,
up
I will
late?
tell you.
Did you wake up late?
No. It's just I only wear these pants whenever I'm going to play golf, and I'm playing golf right afterward, and they're just 2 inches too short.
You really don't play golf. To be honest, I've seen you. I wouldn't call that golf, but you're going to hit balls. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Watch out for the house. Watch out for the house.
Wait a minute.
Watch out for the house.
You have no room to speak. None.
What?
None. You ain't no golfer. Get out of here. You try. I mean, you're worse than me.
I'm an all-time putter, and I admit that, and I can beat you in putting. I can do that because that's what I do, Zach.
No, why don't you just back off?
On the other hand, the last time I was at a golf outing with you, and the only golf outing, I believe we won the maybe 4th or 5th hole, and we hear a shot, and we hear a guy go forward, and immediately 1 second later, the ball bounces right in between us in my group. You almost killed us.
you act like that.
We were not on the same course. I must first let me say we were on the complete opposite side of you guys. But luckily, someone in your group, other than you, yelled forward. Even though the guy who hit the shot, I thought was supposed to yell.
Joe,
forward.
let me just say, Joe, you're welcome because I was the other guy in the group that yelled forward.
Hey, J.A., you act like I did that on accident.
Hey,
Joe
you
Adkins
you
with
did it on purpose.
That's right. Joe Adkins with us on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline. All
Kind
right,
of like James Harden last night. No, I meant to put that off the glass at the shot clock buzzer.
That's right.
I meant
to bank it 4 different times last night. All right, so the latest we're hearing. Let me do 2 quick things with you. The latest we're hearing, Lopez. This is unbelievable, really. Lopez for Perkins, Lamb, and Jarrett it's a potential. It could happen. That the money matches up on that. It sounds like it's only going to be a 2-way deal if it happens. Lopez for Perkins, Lamb, and Jarrett. And if I just threw that at you as an example, your thoughts would be what?
Well, I think you have to do it. If you can get Brook Lopez, that's a ton of money. He's injury prone, but he's been a guy that's given you 19-7, 19-8. Now, he's not a great rebounding big, but he is a big body. But he's a big that can score with his back to the basket, though. So he gives the Thunder another option. He could be much better with the Thunder because of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. He'll be able to get a lot more space within the offense. And, we've talked about this, and you hear it with the announcers and everything. People talk about the Thunder. They need a low post presence to take that next step. Well, Brook Lopez, when healthy, he's the guy that takes you to that next level if he's healthy and able to function. But I think if you're the Thunder, you almost have to do that because you got to make a move right now. Your time is running out in where you can go and where you want to get. Each year you're wasting, so you got to get better to try to make a push because the teams around you, although they're ahead of you, they're still making pushes to get better. So
Bedlam, you going to win? You going to win, Bedlam?
Man, you just cut me off. You didn't want to hear my answer?
No, I thought you were done. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Okay.
Bedlam, you going to win?
I don't know.
That was enough. That means no. That is enough.
I'm not a homer and just going to say yeah because I went to Oklahoma State. But I feel it's a game they can win. Will it be difficult? Yeah. Oklahoma's coming off a 2-game on a 2-game losing streak, and they're back on their home floor where they lost their last home game. So I'm sure the crowd they'll have a huge crowd for Bedlam. So they'll be extremely motivated to try to get back on the winning track. And you have a team in Oklahoma State that didn't play well at KU, but still was right there in the game. So they should come in with a little confidence. But the key will be if Oklahoma State can control pace. If they can control pace and LeBron Nash and Joe Forte play well, they're going to give themselves an opportunity. But I think that the key will be Anthony Hickey has to play well for those guys to win. He's going to have to score a little more for them. He's done a good job of creating offense for guys, but he has to put in the basket a little more to help them score.
Good talking to you Sunday. Hey, let's watch some games Sunday. Good talking to you.
I got you, fellas. Todd, you owe me nuggets, buddy. I haven't forgot.
I know.
All right, you guys got
See you later, Joe.
Have a good week. All right, good Friday, fellas.